have about 25 different slideshows I can do. So, projects in South America, different things like that. We'll try to focus on Japa. Leave the door open, I guess. The roof open? Yeah. Otherwise, there'll be no oxygen in here. So, I'm just going to start here. Festival of Inspiration. I guess we can turn off the light. Is there a light switch right behind you there? Yeah. Okay. So, what we have, all the robots that cooperate with us here. So I was trying to, Mother Malati was suggesting this topic about Japa. And so the very first day, Badahari made a nice presentation about Japa. And then Ramapad Maharaj was also talking about it. It's a fundamental process. Actually, Prabhupada only requires, 5? Don't do these 4 things. And you should do this 5th. You have to do this 5th thing. And so it's very fundamental to our whole process. And so I was like meditating on this, trying to figure out what to do. It's a big topic, what's the most important. And I was going around, again and again. And so finally worked out something here. So what I'll show you first is a DVD, which runs like a movie. And you got to kind of read fast to follow it. But don't worry, after I go through the whole thing one time, then I'll go back through it part by part. And it's more for stimulation, for conversation, than it is like a strict presentation like that. Okay, one photo. There was a man going home with his new wife in a little cart, and after about 1 mile, the horse balked, and so he told his just overloaded the. So he went out and tried to get the horse to go. The horse wouldn't go, so he's screaming and yelling. And so finally the horse started to move. He told the horse, "That's once." Okay. So he went a little farther, the horse stopped again. He was screaming, the horse wouldn't go again. So the horse, "That's 2 times." So he went a little farther, the horse stopped again. He pulled a gun out, and he shot the horse in the head. It dropped dead. And his new wife was screaming and yelling, and he says, "That's once." So we've had 1 photo so far. Also cell phones, you can't reach it. So now we're waiting for the robot to start again. Do you even know how to make this work at all? So no one knows how to get it. You just push start. Pull it down. Huh?
Maharaj, once it switches off, you got to give at least a minute so that.
Okay. All right.
Take pictures.
Watch it, follow through it, and afterwards we can go through bit by bit. Okay, ready? 1, 2, F5. Director of our institute there. How about you? So now I can go back. This is from Peru, music from Peru. So this is Rupa Swami sitting here writing these books for Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And our first point is that this is a very nice picture. I like this picture. This is from what's his name? Maxfield Parrish. He's a very famous American artist. A lot of the BBT pictures are copies of his style like that. So I always like this. This is how I kind of feel about myself in reality. Is kind of like this. This is me. I always think of this is Hanumatpresaka Swami. This is the GBC secretary. So everybody has a different point of view. There's a very, very famous story about this elephant. And these different blind men went to see the elephant, and nobody knew what the elephant was. So one person grabbed a hold of his trunk, and he told everybody else very arrogantly, "Oh, the elephant is like a very big snake." Another man hit his ear, and he said, "Oh, you fool, you blind man, the elephant is like a big leaf." Another guy said, "You're idiots. The elephant is like the trunk of a tree." Another guy said, "No, the elephant is like a big wall." And the last man said, "Oh, you're all incorrect. The elephant is like a rope," like that. So the point is that everybody approaches Krishna consciousness. Everybody approaches Japa, from a different perspective, different angle. If you go on the internet and do like a Google search or a Yahoo search for elephant, blind elephant, you get about 6 or 7 of these. Very, very nice pictures like that. It's a very important point to understand that it doesn't have to be that, one person's right. Actually, the more reality is that we're all going to approach Krishna consciousness from a different direction. God is unlimited, like the sun. So the Venus is receiving the light of the sun, Mercury is receiving the light of the sun, all the different planets are receiving different light from the sun. Okay. Okay. Hello. Hello. One second. Testing. Hello. Okay. Yeah. Say my voice. So all the different planets are receiving light from the sun, but different rays of light. Yeah?
These 5-6 devotees are standing outside that so devotees can move forward.
If you want to move a little closer here, like that. Don't worry, we're vegetarian. Everybody move forward 1 meter. So, this is, I think, a very, very fundamental point about Krishna consciousness, and also about chanting Japa, doing our sacrifice, worshiping Krishna, is that everybody has a different perspective. Achinta Veda Veda Tattva means you have to develop your own Krishna consciousness, your own perspective, 100% by yourself. Right? And the ultimate issue is only you and God. And that's it. But simultaneously and inconceivably, the more you try and develop your relationship with God, you realize that you're just one of unlimited numbers of different living entities in relationship. Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. And if you try and sacrifice your relationship to serve everybody else, you realize, well, I can't do that. I can't help anybody else unless I have my relationship. So it's simultaneously individual and common, like that. But here I'm making this point that everybody, we have to realize that everybody has their own particular position in life, and don't be afraid to for example, Sanatana Goswami says, every single cowherd boy thinks that he's Krishna's closest friend. And he's a little bit surprised at that. Why does Krishna take so much interest in me? I'm just like an ordinary person. But he's talking to me about the most confidential things like that. So Sanatana Goswami says that every cowherd boy thinks that he's Krishna's most confidential friend. Then Sanatana Goswami says, and by the nature of the internal potency, it's a fact. Right? It's a Chitta Veda Veda Tattva. How is this Sankirtan movement going to go forward? Who's the most crucial person for pushing on Srila Prabhupada's mission? Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like an exaggeration, artificial thing to increase our psychology. The Sankirtan movement is when it depends completely, 100% upon you. Yeah. And simultaneously, the more I take this personal, individual responsibility, I'll realize how I'm connected to other people and how I have to cooperate with everybody else and play my part. Like that. So that's the first thing. We may have a different point of view, but both of our positions can be true. Now, my own personal position, I was at the University of California. I started in electrical engineering, changed to biological engineering, was doing surgery on dogs and rats. And I hope they don't come back to get me. And then I finished that. So what else? So I changed to psychology. But then I had to graduate. So I graduated with a first place prize in psychology from the University of California with minor studies in biology and electrical engineering. Then I went to Northwestern in Chicago, was starting a doctorate, PhD. But then I thought this whole Western knowledge is really limited. And my mentor, who was president of the American Psychological Association, he agreed. He said, basically it's for making money. So I become a psychiatrist, right? Basically, yeah. Yeah. So he said, try something else, investigate different things. So I got a book from one devotee, I think it was Buddhimanta. It's the whole story there. The Krishna book. There it is right there. But the one I got was volume number 2. And I started reading it, and the very first story talks about the previous story. In the previous story it says, but I was reading the first story, I kept kind of looking, it was coming up, kind of lost in the cover or something. Then I finally realized that he'd sold me the second volume of the Krishna book. But I started reading it, and before I ever physically met Srila Prabhupada or came to the temple, I became completely convinced that this is the right process. And the essence of this whole thing for me was chanting. Not just with the lips, not just with the brain, but from the core of the heart. Right? The core of the heart. So for me, Japa, means very profound chanting. Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Hey, you there.
For me, Krishna consciousness means very, very profound chanting from the core of the heart in developing this particular service to Prabhupada. Very esoteric, meditative process like that. So that was my determination. But, it says conclusion there. You can't read it, it's yellow. But the conclusion is, Prabhupada says one place, he says many times, what's the most important service in ISKCON? Book distribution. Yeah, you should know that. You kind of forget that. Prabhupada again and again and again and again. So the most important service is book distribution. But what's the most essential service? Yeah, Prabhupada says there are many, many services in the Sankirtan movement as a spiritual master against people. But the most essential service is chanting 16 good rounds. So the most essential service is 16 good rounds, our japa. But the most important service is book distribution. You can begin with the most important service, Sankirtan, but you'll realize that without the most essential service, Japa, you're just half a band. So we're starting with the conclusion here, but our elephant hasn't got any kind of traction here like that. So you try, one time Prabhupada said, if you preach, but don't chant your rounds, don't engage in hearing and chanting properly, then eventually you'll stop preaching. Like that. But if you engage in hearing and chanting, your rounds follow the program, eventually you'll preach. Like that. But still, it's two parts of the same elephant. Okay, you want to start from this, but very soon, you talk to any book distributor in this movement who's been successful and going on, you got to get your rounds done. You can't be trying to chant your rounds that way after you get out on the street, between people, this and that. It doesn't work. Or you can begin with the most essential service, japa, But you'll realize that without the most important service, Sankirtana has no fruit. See, why am I chanting? Why do I do this every day? Well, because I want to get out there and give somebody else the message, right? Give somebody else. Somebody saved me from a horrible future. I want to do that for somebody else. I want to give them out there and give them Srila Prabhupada, right? I personally heard from Prabhupada's lips. He said when he was in Berkeley, some reporter asked him, Swamiji, what will happen to your movement when you die? And Prabhupada said, I will never die. I will live forever in my books. Yeah. So it's a completely, many people have had this experience. One very, very nice story was Bhakti Bringa Maharaj, Bhakti Ayodhyapati Maharaj. Maybe about 5 years ago he was in Delhi and he had to renew his visa, American visa for India. And if you know the Indian bureaucracy, you know that renewing your visa as a foreigner can be a process extending over hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. So he went to the first, the building. There's a complex of buildings. It was built under the Viceroy of India and later on. And he finally found the place where he was supposed to start. And there's one boy working away like this. And I looked up and he said, well, what do you want? He said, sir, I have to renew my visa. This and they said, well, okay. He starts pulling these forms out and checking things. You have to get this signed by so-and-so. You have to get this taken care of by this person. You have to get this taken care of by that person. And so Maharaj is thinking, even if I do this, it's going to take 3 days, So the boy said, well, wait a second, I'll help you. Okay. So he locked his desk up. And he took Maharaj, down this stairway, through this window. Told this guy, you have to stop doing this. Help this person right now. Okay. So it took about an hour. And they came back at the desk. And the boy was finishing off the last papers. And he said, you're a member of ISKCON, a disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, aren't you? It's about 5 years ago. And Maharaj said, yes, I am. He said, I thought so. That's why I was helping you. Then he took out a Bhagavad Gita out of his desk drawer. And he said, about 1 year ago, I was so just disturbed, like, who am I? What is life? What am I supposed to do? My family. But then I got Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and I've been reading it for 1 year, and everything's become so clear. My life has become just so nice, And so I saw one of his disciples, and I thought, well, how can I not help, Swamiji's disciple like that? So the boy said, do you think if I wrote to Srila Prabhupada, he would answer? Yeah. And so Maharaj could understand that he didn't know that Prabhupada, and his relationship was completely personal. So he had to tell him, he said, well, actually, I'm sorry to tell you, Prabhupada left his body in 1977. And it's like coming into somebody telling you, dear Kala, I'm sorry, you got a phone call, your father's dead. So the boy just was completely shocked. It was like hearing like his closest relation was dead. He started crying. Other people are looking over this, what's happening. He calmed himself down like that. So this is the fact that Srila Prabhupada is not dead. He's there in his books. And we can take advantage of his association. And other people can also take advantage of association. So Sankirtan is the fruit, right? Is the fruit of good japa. And maybe emphasize this point. It's ready to take any challenges, Because again and again, Prabhupada is saying there are many important services in this movement. Deity worship is important. Prasadam distribution is important. Administration is important. Public relation is important. Taking care of the devotees is important. But amongst all these important services, the most important service is... Let's hear it. Yeah. And everybody has a different nature, a different way of doing it, different ability. So, you can begin with, this most essential service, chant your rounds, like that. But unless there's this result, of seeing the books going out from your particular position, then there's no fruit, and you won't feel satisfied. You'll feel still like it's kind of artificial thing or something. If japa is your inclination, then follow our determination. So here we are in front of you, making a pathway you can follow. I've been chanting my rounds for 30 years. If you want to get behind me, okay, here we go. We're into the elephant. It may be slow, but it's steady. Okay. If japa is your inclination, maybe somebody else, they want to get out of the street. I've got people say this. They say, I get my rounds done, but for me the thing is getting out there on the street and approaching people. and then I just automatically I have to get my rounds done. So everybody is approaching things differently. It's just one perspective on the japa. So watch the chicken. There you go. Okay. After 30 years for me, the whole essence of this yoga boils down to just 8 words. Somebody asked me this question, and I was thinking about it. What are those 8 words? Get up early and get your rounds done. Yeah. Here's some hints. Don't eat late at night. This is I see more and more in ISKCON. We have these home programs, and I see more and more people coming with their plastic tiffins like that, and they're saving it all till the next day. Yeah. So everybody has different body, different karma, different activity like that. But Prabhupada one time said the brahmachari shouldn't eat grains after 4 o'clock in the afternoon to fully digest them like that. So don't eat late at night. Prabhupada said that alarm clocks are not necessary. Right? He said that automatically at Brahma Muhurta, an hour and a half before sunrise, the roosters start crowing there like that. This happened when Krishna was in Dwarka, right? Yeah? And so the roosters started crowing at Brahma Muhurta. And Krishna got up, even though he was very in bed, being embraced by Rukmini. And Rukmini was disgusted because she was so happy serving Krishna this way. And so she cursed the roosters at that point. She cursed the roosters. And who is Rukmini? She's the goddess of fortune, right? So you may have noticed from this point that roosters aren't very rich. I figured this out. This is why. And also Krishna was engaged in the Ras Lila, and the gopis were helping him in so many beautiful ways. Is there any service better than Ras Lila? No, it's the highest service. But what happened when the Brahma Muhurta came? This is in the Krishna book. Krishna stopped the Ras Lila. The gopis didn't like it, but they were very submissive and they obeyed Krishna's instructions to observe Brahma Muhurta. A Muhurta is 48 minutes. So different Muhurtas during the day. But the Brahma Muhurta is the one from 96 minutes until 48 minutes before the sun rises. And whatever japa, hearing and chanting you do during that time, you get double, triple, quintuple credit for it. Prabhupada was so strict about this, so emphatic. One time they were in South India and staying at some place, and the landlord gave them a big feast and program late at night, and all the devotees were sleeping the next morning late, and Prabhupada got up, nobody was up, and there was dal and rice outside on the mandap. And then Prabhupada woke up the temple president and got him animated, and he got everybody up, and they were all sitting out there, and Prabhupada was waiting, like that. So my devoted friend Petit Pavan told me this. So they were all sitting there a little nervous, and Prabhupada first off started with the girls. Are you Hindu girl or Muslim girl? Huh? What are you? Huh? Don't you know our culture? Your ladies are supposed to be up first, cleaning the outside. Look at this. Look at this. And so all the girls were terrified. Then Prabhupada went on like that, one after another, chastising everybody. And then my friend Petit Pavan, took his knife and started scraping the doll up like that. He didn't know what to do. Then Prabhupada said, "Very good. And after that, cut your throat." Put the knife away. So after that, the entire rest of the trip, everybody was up early. So Prabhupada emphasized it very much. This Brahma Muhurta is so important, so valuable for our spiritual life. This is my system now. Again, everybody has to develop their own system here. But it's difficult for me after 30 years, different things like that also, getting up. Put your alarm clock across the room next to the light. Don't eat late at night. Put your alarm clock across the room next to the light. You can memorize this, So my alarm clock goes off. I get up at 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock my alarm clock goes off. And before I go to bed, I program my brains. I tell them over and over again. I give them clear instruction. So okay, you got to get up. You go over. Don't turn off the alarm clock. You can't turn off the alarm clock. What's happening here? Okay. until the light is on. Okay, so I turn the light on, you know, and then I have no intelligence at this point, but I have a few simple instructions. There's a glass of water, you know, waiting there beside the thing. Okay, so I drink one full glass of water, even if I don't like it. Just do it. I'm going to tell your intelligence, just do it. Okay, and then I sit down and chant. And right away, there's actually one entire book called "You're Not Tired, You're Thirsty." Right? And so you feel tired, you feel weak, you feel sick. You drink one full glass of water, and right away you'll feel like, wow, you can feel it circulating in your body like that. You know? So this is my particular solution. I was working for Master Charge when I first became a devotee, living outside the temple, right near the temple in San Francisco. And I was doing a swing shift from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight. But usually I get back to about 11 o'clock at night and go to my bed. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, my clock would go off. But it was just too hard to get out of my comfortable bed and go to the temple. But if I slept on the floor, on a carpet, then I could get up. You know. But coming home late at night, it was really difficult to resist. You know, getting in that nice warm bed. So little by little, we have to solve our own problems. Everybody here has a different problem, right? So what I did is I took my Back to Godhead collection and I put it all over the bed, right? So now to get into the bed, I had to pick them up one at a time, looking at Krishna staring at me. And so that was enough. And after that, the bed became like just an altar for the Back to Godhead, and I slept on the floor, and I got up. So it doesn't matter how stupid it is. Maybe you got to wind your teddy bear up, and your teddy bear has to kick you in the head at 4 o'clock, or have a friend call you, or something. You know, my advice, you know, for this particular, if you want to follow this elephant, you know, somehow or other get up, you know, and one full glass of water, sit down and chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Okay, Jaya Sita, Jaya Ram. Yeah. I've got a little delay here somehow, I don't know why. Then that delay, okay. Let's do it again. There you go. Then after, if you do that, you'll be basically fixed in the mode of goodness. Prabhupada says in the introduction to Nectar of Instruction, once you get fixed in the mode of goodness, everything else is automatically revealed how to advance in Krishna consciousness. Because then the Paramatma can start giving you advice. You get up early, you chant your rounds, you do a little Mangal Arati at 4:30 for Radha and Krishna, a little incense, flower, they're people. You chant and dance like a bear. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. I've done this. This is the conclusion of 30 years of research. With Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, I was in Calcutta with our Bhakti Vedanta Institute arranging the Second World Congress for Science and Religion. And that was in Prabhupada Centennial, 1996. Yeah. And it was the hottest summer in 30 years in Calcutta. And my first summer in India. Even street dogs were complaining. It was tough. You know? And there wasn't enough money, so I couldn't take taxis. I had to take Calcutta city buses in the summer. Now, I want you to do a little experiment here. I want you to take your wrist like this. Hold your wrist. Now squeeze it as hard as you can. That's what it feels like to be on a Calcutta city bus. Yeah. I'm not kidding. People fall asleep standing up next to you like that. Yeah. So, and I was like about 20 pounds less than I am now. It was incredible, you know. But for me, it was a real test. Prabhupada says, for every single process in the Ashtanga Yoga system, there's a corresponding process in Bhakti Yoga. So it was just a test for me, because this required unbelievable, sensitivity to the prana within your body, how it was flowing. If I leaned 2 inches too far forward, it would have fallen on my face like that. Everything, eating this too much, everything else like that. And again, this rule, I was just getting up in the morning with my deity, or Nrsingadev. He was suffering too. Boy, he was perspiring. He was hot. But then I would just start chanting and dancing. But I put my hands over my head and start doing kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Namo. And my mind would say, "What are you doing? What is the use of this? Why are you?" But then my mind would start thinking, "Well, why is he doing this? And why is the master doing this?" Then my intelligence will start to supply good reasons. Krishna will help us. Don't worry, we'll have some success. And after a few seconds, I actually was like enthusiastic, making positive plans and chanting and do my rounds like that. So the yoga works. You get up. This is all the nectar of instruction. Prabhupada says, page 24. Page 24? Page 20, no, page 34. Page 34, nectar of instruction. In this Krishna consciousness movement, we require everyone to rise early in the morning by 4 a.m., attend Mangalarti or morning service. One time I tried to wake a brahmachari up. He pulled a gun on me. There's a lot of things in this movement. And I said, Prabhupada says you got to get up by 4 o'clock and attend morning Mangalarti or morning service. And he said, okay, I'll go to the morning service. I said, well, okay. So anyway, morning or morning service. And perform kirtan and read Srimad Bhagavatam. It was a very simple little formula, like that. So you get up, there's a deity, there's a form, Krishna's a person, right? You do kirtan, chanting with the body. Then you sit down and chant your rounds, and everybody got a different way of chanting. Like that. You can go and look later on that. And after some time, very natural, the sun starts to come up. There's light. It's very beautiful seeing the sunrise. In Calcutta, it was unbelievable, with beautiful colors and stuff like that. And now you can read. So there's Japa, Kirtan, Puja, worshiping the form of the Lord, reading, a little prasadam, and now I was ready to face Calcutta once again like that. And it was amazing. Actually, it was very difficult, unbelievable. But finally, when Sri Damodar came, my master, he was criticizing me for not doing too much. But after one day there, and seeing how everything was going, he remembered his days there, and he laughed and he apologized. He said, I forgot how tough it is here. He said, you've done a wonderful job. Bhakti Yoga Ki. So the result was there. The Japa, produced the Sankirtan result. Okay. Something else here. Live where 2 a.m. Japa is okay. Yeah. This is myself. Actually, Vipramukhi Maharaj told us that Prabhupada said 3 times, I guess it was one lecture in Vrindavan, the best time to chant your rounds is before Mangalarti. Like that. Because when you go to Mangalarti, it's just unbelievable. Because you're Krishna conscious. Like that. You go on expanding it more and more. I also heard that Prabhupada said when he was a Grihastha, he would get 4 rounds done after he got up, before he would touch his breakfast. An Indian breakfast means like, 9:30 or something, not American breakfast. He would get 4 more rounds done. He would have 8 rounds done before he would touch his breakfast. And then during the day, he'd find a time to do 4 more good rounds. And then before he'd get in that bed, 4 more rounds would be done. He said this way as a grihastha, so many different things happening. You can't plan. You can't plan when your children are going to be sick or this and that. So it was adjusted like that. But somehow or other, it's very good. Everybody knows this. The earlier you can get your rounds done, the better. Like that. So we can all chant here. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Jai Gopal, Jai Gopal. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare At the end of the day, fasting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. What's next? Okay. The final lesson, the final examination. At the time of death, your japa will be tested. So there is an examination after this practice. Everybody goes to school, you practice things, right? Like in the doctor. So there's Krishna consciousness, there's a test at the time of death, right? Your japa. There's a very famous story in ISKCON, you may have heard it. One devotee, his whole life was chanting. In the time of death, he died, he went to Vaikuntha. But there's a very, very strange deity of Krishna there with little pointy ears and very kind of pointed mustache like that. And he said, well, who are you? And he said, I'm, hey, kitty, 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 here, kitty, 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 kitty. And you've been calling me your entire life.
So Socrates was poisoned. Socrates' final dialogue is called the Phaedo, Phaedo, the final dialogue, and it's worth reading. You find so many arguments that Prabhupada gives. In some ways, it's the basis of all Western philosophy that matters. Is the Phaedo, and very, very nice discussion. He says, he asks his disciples, "Any questions?" And they say, "Well, how can you be so fearless of death?" And he says, "Because the soul is immortal." How can you be sure of that? So he gives so many arguments, so many discussions, and the same things we discuss. It's a very, very nice thing to read for our own purification. And also for preaching. If you're preaching in these Western atmospheres, if you can quote Socrates, it's pretty solid authority in the West like that. So he had to, his philosophy had to face this moment. Jesus Christ, he was tested by death. The Prophet Muhammad, may his name be blessed, was also poisoned. Right? Who else? Christ. So many people on and on like that. People were killed and assassinated and everything else like that. So the time of death, that's what we're really working on this thing, that we can chant Hare Krishna at the time of death. And probably goes many, many different points about this. So this is the homunculus. If you look on the internet, you'll find many different versions of the homunculus, and most of them haven't got pants on. Yes. Our particular homunculus has been a civilized guy there. So this is how your brain sees your body. There are lots of nerves in the tongue, lips, and fingers. Japa is a natural form of meditation. Move your lips and tongue. Feel each bead. You are making a deity out of sound. Yeah? So the homunculus, this is a cerebral cortex. You got your brain there, and you got this thin candy covering, right, called the cerebral cortex, and all the nerves go into that. So if you stimulate different things or take measurements, this is how your brain sees your body as a human being. Many, many nerves in the fingers, many nerves in the mouth and the tongue, some for the nose, a lot for the ears, not so much for this part of the skin or the feet. How many nerves do you think a tiger has in its fingers? Tigers, they have a lot of nerves in their fingers? Almost nothing. Yeah. But what about the nose? Yeah, and the eyes. As you see, a tiger has got a very big nose, a homunculus, very fine eyes, like that, ears. So the human being is very, very natural. This is a very, very natural process. You're going to feel the bead. That's why we're doing it. Vishnu Jayan said you should imagine you're massaging Srila Prabhupada's toes, like that. Yeah. And also then Prabhupada said the tongue and lower jaw should move. Not in the beginning, just do it. Right? You may not think about it, you may not understand it, you may not love it, but just do it. Hare Krishna. Right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, that's karma yoga. Just do it. Yeah, do it. And gradually then to control the mind, to bring it back under control, you find it's very natural. Using your tongue and mouth. After hearing this, it'll occur to you, spacing out, you're not chanting good rounds, I don't want to chant clearly, so Hare Krishna. And it works. That's why it's called Japa, right? Because your jaw and your paw, right? Yeah. Sometimes our intelligence becomes that low. Right? It's just like, it's like if you know computer science, you've got to put these instructions way down in the operating system, right? These application programs run on top of the operating system, but we're trying to change the operating system. So way deep down in there is this thing, chant Hare Krishna. In every single situation, you take shelter of the holy name. There it is. Japa Joe's bag of tricks. There are numberless transcendental, though material tricks to control the mind. Hear the mantra. But the basis of all these is the desire to find them. Sats Rup Maharaj has a whole little book, a long time ago, right? He's before everybody else, called Japa Reform Notebook. And as he said, he asked Prabhupada how to chant better rounds, and Prabhupada looked at him and said, by chanting better rounds. So the basis is bhakti, the desire to do it. But after that, there's so many different, unlimited number of tricks. At one time I was sitting with a new devotee and chanting rounds. He was obviously having trouble staying awake and this and that. And I was thinking like, well, what should I tell him? But then I was realizing that there's this unlimited number of things that I do. Like during 2 hours of japa, there'd be at least 7, 8, 9 different things I'll do, right? To bring my mind back under control. You know? It's unlimited. For example, one devotee, Jai Krishna, he's an international chess master. He can keep 7 games of chess in his mind at one time and probably beat anybody here like that. Okay? So he has this, from our perspective, unlimited visual memory and grammar like that. But he has very, very difficult time focusing on sound. So when he's trying to chant his japa, it's like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So he asked me, for some advice. So I showed him the Nrsimha Yantra. It's like a triangle, with another triangle the opposite direction, and then little triangles on each of the ones like that. So it ends up being 108 lines. So I told him, why don't you just construct this, one line per mantra, like that. So he started doing it with different colors, different patterns, different textures, like that. And that way he was able to bring his mind, which is a highly visual mind, under control. Some people have highly visual minds, some people have highly tactile minds, some have highly acoustical minds. I'll tell this now. Chandrasekhar Swami, here, when he was a brahmachari, he used to come in and pay Sankirtan. He's a I would pay my obeisances 5 times to him at least for his Sankirtan, what we used to do for Prabhupada, distributing books. So he'd come in with the devotees in the morning, and before Mangalarti he would pay his obeisances to Prabhupada. And after about 2 minutes, the devotees would notice he was still paying his obeisances to Prabhupada. Wake him up. Then during japa, he would stand in front of Prabhupada's murti, running in place like this, chanting his rounds like that, because that was the only way he could stay awake. So some of us have Shudra tendencies. So all your energy's in the legs. You have to walk. As soon as you sit down, you fall asleep. Myself, if I walk like that, it's hard for me to concentrate. I'm 3/4 Brahmana, 1/4 Shudra. I have no Vaishya and Kshatriya. It's okay, so I need to control my mind by sitting, focusing, meditating. Read the nectar of instruction. This is something I do. I need simple, repeated, logic. I've got to memorize it. So that, then your mind keeps looking for things when you're chanting. It finds these instructions like that. Prabhupada's formula is what? Reading, chanting. One time Bhadravardhan told me that Prabhupada said, on these big festival days you can do kirtan for 20 minutes, and then read for 20 minutes, and then chant for 20 minutes. And just go in a cycle like that. And I've done it, you just don't get tired. You just keep on going. The kirtan wakes you up, the reading gets your thinking going, and then the japa is meditation. Not just understanding, but meditating. And when you're tired of that, you're just back again chanting like that. So, my basic things are read the nectar of instruction, follow 4 principles strictly, get up for a nice one, and kirtan with the gopis. Read Srimad Bhagavatam and pray to Srila Prabhupada. Please find a little place in your eternal Sankirtan party for us today, forever. That's kind of my conclusion, is what I really want. What do you want? A new bicycle? Your own pet monkey? Right? A better air conditioner? If Satan came to you right now and said, Trikala, what do you really want? Really? Everything Vishnu. Yeah. So myself, I'm realizing is that, wow, what I would really like is just to be engaged in the Sankirtan movement forever. To find some position I can do, But yeah, I can do. I can fit into the Sankirtan movement. So we have to pray in a certain mood. The Prabhupada says that the... so we need the... okay, yeah, back up. Prabhupada says that a cat, even a cat, even a parrot, one parrot can chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah. He says, at the time of death, he won't chant Hare Krishna, he'll chant cat, 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 cat. Right? Or in Spanish, gato, gato. Yeah. And his cats come to eat him. So we have to chant with the mouth. That's Karma Mishra Bhakti Yoga. And we have to understand what we're doing. This is Jnana Mishra Bhakti Yoga. Understanding the whole thing logically, put it together, build my own logic. Okay, now I understand that. Karma, Jnana, Dhyana. Now I can really focus. I can spend 2 hours not worrying about whether I have to rotate my tires. Will I study this? What's going to happen after that? No, now my intelligence is strong, clear, and it can defeat my mind and bring it back under control. So now karma, jnana, dhyana, and now bhakti. And now when you're chanting, every single mantra is just beating on that diamond-like heart, stone-like heart in your chest. It took me years. I thought always when it said change of heart was like a metaphor. And finally I realized I had a heart. How many people here realize you have a heart? Thought about that. Yeah. Then I began to realize my heart wasn't like a stone. It was like a pneumatic tire. Right? Like an automobile tire. Some flexibility, but not much. Yeah, hard-hearted. So at this point you're chanting, and you really begin to pray, to work on softening your heart, like that. So different levels. Hear the mantra, get up, chant, read Prabhupada's books, follow the principles strictly. And that's the basis of our things we do to chant good rounds. Without reading Prabhupada's books, you won't chant good rounds. You can go on for some time, but I just haven't got time this morning. Got my rounds done, but haven't got time to read or hear. Sometimes you very quickly lose your perspective. You don't get up early, same thing. Getting up early, reading Prabhupada's books, following the 4 principles. These are the most essential things. But besides that, there's so many other things. Again, filling the beads. Sometimes my mind is completely out of control. To bring it under control, I stop breathing. Right? Stop breathing. And after a very short time, your mind just says, hey, we're not breathing. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, we're going to breathe pretty soon, aren't we? Not until you listen to the mantra. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to think about this. I want to think about that. Nope, we're not going to breathe. Oh, come on. No, I'm not going to breathe. Oh, all right. Breathe, please. So pranayama is very natural. You talk to many devotees, even me some devotees here, right? Take a deep breath and try and do a certain number of beads on one breath, like that. Yes, pranayama is also a very important part of this. I've heard Prabhupada told Guru Kripa Swami, you can roll the beads on Hare Krishna and hold them steady on Hare Rama. Different things like that to stimulate, to catch the mind. In the Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, in the Kirtanam process, Prabhupada talks about chanting Japa. And I think he's quoting from Bhakti Siddhanta. He says, in the beginning, our chanting is intellectual. Is this okay or not? Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. It's intellectual. Is it going to work or not? My mother says I'll go crazy if I chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The devil will come and take me to hell. So we're very intellectual. But after some time we become satisfied. No, this is the right thing. I want to meditate. So the second level of japa is using the mantra to bring your mind away from distracting influences. The devotees asked Prabhupada how to bring the mind under control. And Prabhupada said, chant louder. And you see sometimes Prabhupada in very irritating situations will be pacing back and forth chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. works, right? You're thinking of the mantra. So, but after some time it doesn't work. Your mind just gives up on that too. So you got to have your bag of tricks, right? And some people have to get up and walk, some sit down, some associate with devotees. You find out. Everybody's mind is different. And that's why Krishna likes you, because you're different, right? See how you're conquering this thing. Because the thing is to bring the mind under control, mantra, and focus on the mantra. Hear it, right? And after that, start chanting with meaning. Okay? Now I'm hearing, but what is the meaning? Right? One old lady had a very miserable life. She was no family. She was forced to sleep in the marketplace at night with other poor people. And every day to survive, she would march over the hills to where the woodcutters were. And she would bargain with these people to get the most amount of wood. They'd tie it in a cloth and put it on her head. And she would walk back over the hills, down to her village, get somebody to help her put it down, open it up, and then bargain with the housewives every day over, how much to get for the wood. And she was surviving this way. So one day she's coming back, from the woodlot, and the knot came undone. All the wood fell on the ground in the middle of the hills, and there's no way she could put it back up by herself. So she just fell on the ground and was scratching the ground with her nails and crying, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. And right in front of her, Lord Narayan appeared with 4 arms, with Gada, Shankha, Chakra, and all the demigods. And he said, Old lady, what do you want? And she said, please put all the wood back on my head. Yeah. Are you sure that's what you want? Yes, please put the wood back on my head. So we're all chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why don't I advance? Well, what is your meaning? Do you even have any meaning? It's just mindless repetition of words. Oh, I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. If I don't chant Hare Krishna, I'll fall into drinking and smoking and other things. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So you get liberation, right? You get free from these gross habits. Prabhupada says if you pull a worm out of stool, he'll crawl right back in, like that. And chanting in the morning early. I wish I could go back to bed. I wish I could crawl back in my bed. I wish I could crawl back in my bed. I wish I could. What does it mean? Right? Yeah. So, reading books is to get this meditation. Right? Prabhupada said you can chant in the mood of the Shikshastaka. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame babam buddha. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I'm your eternal servant. Please take me out from this ocean of death and place me in all the atoms as well as sleep. Okay. Oh my son Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Somehow or other I have fallen in this ocean, somehow or other, a material existence. Kindly pick me up and place me as one atom of dust at your lotus feet. Okay, now we're going to chant one Maha Mantra in that mood. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, now you got to chant 1,727 more mantras. Oh, impossible. No, if you practice. All 2 hours of japa can be with meaning. And that meaning can go in different ways like that, in different Prabhupada says only one basic meaning. Please engage me in your service. He says a devotee has one desire, to be fixed up in service. But his service is full of variety. So of course along the way there are many distractions. I thought this was kind of funny here. Our yogi is meditating on the yogini. But what is the yogini meditating on? She looks so pure and pure. Well, she's meditating on him. But then she's thinking, well, that's nice, but he's also the source of, nice little babies. And, but why just one baby? Oh, yeah. Goo goo gaga. Why not now? A big house for all the babies. And it's so nice to go through my life on his arm as the Queen of England. Yeah. So like that, our material desires expand. Lord Chaitanya tells Rupa Goswami the whole philosophy in one chapter, Rupa Shiksha. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, chapter 19. most living entities, he says, there are innumerable living entities in this material world. How many? Innumerable. And out of those, some are moving and some are non-moving. Amongst the moving ones, some are human beings and some are not human beings. Amongst some of the human beings, most of them are just two-legged animals, right? They're eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. You know, the dog is running on four legs, looking for food, looking for a partner, looking for some defense, right? And then the man is running on four legs, whistling, "Hey, mamacita." "Hey, honey." It's the same as a dog, right? He's a four-wheeled dog, just looking there like that. So most people are like that. They're just two-legged animals. But some of them are actually following some process of religion. But most of those, why are they following it? Well, just for some prestige or something. They don't know. It's just for, not really even following. They just say, "I'm a Christian, I'm a Hare Krishna, I'm this or that." But amongst those who are really following, most of them are doing it for what purpose? Yeah, they want to have a nice family. They want to go to heaven. There's many. If you look at these Christian magazines, usually sometimes they have heaven, and heaven. This is Jehovah's Witness one time. Heaven was a suburban place with a nice garden, with a dog and a cat there, and a television antenna behind, and one black guy, one red guy, but God wasn't there. God was not in the picture like that. So that's Swarga Loka. That's most people engage in religion because they think, yeah, something after this life. I'll go to heaven. I won't go to hell. But in some people, they realize, no, the purpose of religion is not to get anything in this world. The purpose of religion is to get out of this world. Yeah. So out of Narayana Para, out of Swarga Pavarna, out of many, many thousands of perfected beings, out of many, many thousands of demigods, one realizes that the purpose of religion is to wake up our original feelings for Krishna. Like that. Very rare person. So the people in this room are not ordinary people. In your previous lifetime, some of you were great yogis and yoginis, and now you've come to this movement. In some previous lifetimes, some of you were great demigods and goddesses, and you've come to this movement. And some of you, you're just fortunate. Yeah. So, it's very rare. So somebody wants this in that position. Then Lord Chaitanya gives very, very famous verse, maybe one of the most important verses in the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ramande Brahmatikon Bhagyavan Ji Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Latadi. We're wandering in this football of Lord Brahma. Sometimes we're pigs, sometimes we're God, sometimes we're worms, sometimes we're Riya. Yeah. So that's what you call it, yeah. These are not people, these are bodies, these are roles. Sometimes we're the Hanumatpresaka Swami. But out of all these people, somebody by the mercy of Guru and they get to see the devotional service, some experience of pure love of God, just one look from Prabhupada, one chastisement, one book. You're like, that's what I want. That's what I want. So from that point, we have to grow that seed, right? By hearing about Krishna, by talking, by chanting japa, remembering that, increasing it. But, along with the watering process, this tree, this creeper that's going back to Godhead, weeds will also grow. And that's this whole thing here of our Yogi Raj. It's because material desires will increase. If you're not careful, chanting Hare Krishna will increase your material desires. Right? Your desire for fame, for prestige, for mystical powers, for wealth, for opulence, for peace. Right? Until that particular material desire becomes your service. Prabhu, it's my service to be famous in ISKCON. There are many people like that. And then it's very difficult when that comes out, it takes your whole emotional life with it. Right? So from the very beginning, we've got to be careful that this japa process is very powerful. But make sure that you're doing it for the right purpose, not for liberation, not for this. Keep pulling the weeds out. Hearing from Prabhupada's books, associating with devotees, and keep pulling them out. Prabhupada said over and over again, we can make rapid progress. So avoid these problems. by hearing and chanting. Okay. And next. Om. A-U-M. Radha, Jiva, and Krishna. That's the internal meaning. There is no limit to life under the Japa tree. Please join us and save us from TV. Let us finish with 2 meditations on the Maha Mantra in a Raganuga mode. And then please tell us if this bunch of ideas was bad or gold. How do you like this? This came to me in a dream. So you chant Hare Krishna. First off is what? Rupa Goswami has the complete science of Bhakti Yoga. What book is that? The complete science of Bhakti Yoga. The nectar of devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prabhupada said, read this book 6 times, right? And all your questions will be answered like that. So he summarizes everything from the Bhagavatam, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from so many advanced and basic books. So to summarize the bit is the first one. The first bhakti, there's the bhakti before that is Samana Bhakti. Bhakti. And so Bhakti God, so much bhakti for my wife. When you see her eyes, Prabhupada said, this is Bhakti. Well, this Bhakti is discussed. Shunyam Jnanakamrina Vitam Anukuyena Krishna Vishilanam Bhakti. It's a very, very nice definition. What is Bhakti? And who's eligible? Who can start this? Oh, I have so many material desires. I don't want to be a bad person, but desires, power, speed, and things. Okay, if you can be a civilized person, if you want it, if you want it, you can start the process of Bhakti Yoga. So first, after the first level of yoga, sadhana bhakti, rules and regulations, practices, 2 concepts, bhakti and raganuga. This is both practice. Vaidhi bhakti means you follow the rules. If you're Mohammedan, first, what is the first rule Rupa Goswami gives? The first rule he gives. He gives the 54 rules of sadhana bhakti, 55, 64, 68. Get a guru. Yeah. Guru Acharya and Acharya. Sell my soul. So if you take the Prophet Muhammad, may his name be blessed, as your Acharya, okay. But follow him. So you have to fast during Ramadan, you have to give charity, you have to do namaz 5 times a day to Mecca. This is sadhana bhakti. It'll work. If you actually follow the Prophet Muhammad strictly, it'll work. It'll be developed love for Allah. Right? Get an Acharya. There's a lot of them. Okay, so then you follow the rules and regulations. After some time, you become liberated. You're free. Basically, you can control your senses. You're free from these gross things like that. Right? Then you can start Raganuga. It means flavor, humor. Anu means going, after, and Ga means going. So now we're going to imitate some advanced devotee. I'm off this gross platform, so now I can try to imitate the activities of Hanuman or Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj. And so in the beginning, maybe all the girls are imitating Mother Yashoda, and how can I offer lunch to Krishna? Well, Mother Yashoda offers lunch like this. But the cowherd boys have lunch with Krishna in a different way. Right? The thing is there. You're making the offering to Radha Vrindavan Chandra at 12 o'clock. It's on time. Right things are there. 1 wet sabji, 1 dry sabji, pakora, savory, exactly on time. Okay, Haribol, I can have an hour here. Feeling. You want to feel something. So let me try and feel the way Mother Yashoda feels when she offers lunch to Krishna. Let me try and feel the way the cowherd boys have lunch with Krishna and they're playing with him. This is still Raganuga, still practice, still sadhana bhakti. What is the difference between the Prakriti Sahajas and the Raganuga bhakti? They're imitating. 25,000 points. Yes, sir.
Well, the Sahajiyas, they don't follow basic regular.
Let's take the Sahajiya who's following basic. The Sahajiyas, their idea is they want to enjoy. They want to imitate to enjoy this, enjoy that. But a devotee just wants to imitate to improve his service. My God, I'm doing everything, but it's just so... I'm going on Sankirtan, I got my technique down. Everybody takes on Sankirtan. You know, for example, and the book they'll automatically like that. What's your father's name? He's still alive. Okay. So after this lecture, after this weekend, you want to go home and kill your father, right? So it's a very powerful technique. You know, so this book is $45 million. You like it, right? So you put in a positive position, head up and down, and don't say anything. Even if it takes 15 minutes, you just keep nodding your head up and down. It's an extremely powerful technique like that, right? So this is Vaidhi Bhakti. I'm doing my service to Krishna because I should do it, because Krishna's God, He's my master, He's everybody's best friend. I should do this. But there's no feeling, you know. Well, how does Nityananda distribute books? How does Buddhi Manta? These great devotees, let me try and imitate what they're doing. It's just like trying to start the car, right? Okay. That's Bhava Bhakti. Yeah. Some real sentiments are coming. You're out on Sankirtan, trying to be compassionate, using techniques, getting the books out. At some point, you actually feel real compassion for people. You start crying, and you know, and you're people crying. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you very much for doing this, and here's $100. But it doesn't last. Your material desires start coming, and you know. So Bhava Bhakti is the next platform, right? Samanya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti, Raganuga, then Bhava. Real sentiments are coming, but they're not mature. The fire, you don't need any more matches. You know, the fire is going, the wood's burning. What you need now is to add the wood the right way, right? To fan it, but not too much. So Bhava Bhakti is how to stimulate that real feeling, so that the Bhava and then becomes Prema. It's the same thing, but now it's just in the mature stage like that. You know? So the chanting is the same way. In the beginning, maybe again, that your tongue and jaw are moving. You're making an icon. You can make an icon out of rubber, glue, cement, diamonds, like that, deity. But you can also make an icon or a deity out of sound. The Maha Mantra is an incarnation of Krishna. So if we're saying it properly, we're forming a deity. And then we can begin to have a relationship with it like that. But what does it mean? Okay, it's Jnana Yoga. Well, then I've clarified, I understand the whole thing. Now I can begin to use techniques. I can begin to fix my mind and really hear the mantra. And just lose consciousness of other people, other things. At that point, I realize I have this stone in my heart. I've got to start blasting away at that thing. I've got to feel something. You don't have to do Raganuga Bhakti to go to Vaikuntha. It can help, but you don't have to. You can go to Vaikuntha just by following rules and regulations. But if you want to go to Goloka, then you have to follow those vasanas. Yeah. And then Bhava Bhakti, there's Japa at that level too. You're chanting at that level too. Then it becomes stimulation, right, to really wake up these sentiments and things like that. And then finally, Prema Bhakti, there's also chanting in a pure relationship with Krishna like that. So we're finishing off with two little meditations. I kind of put this together, again, just to try and do something nicely. So these are two meditations kind of I had, maybe in a little more of a Raganuga mode. Please look through this window at Radha. Her complexion is quite fair. Her hand holds on to her heart. There are flowers in her hair. There's a bee upon a flower. I think that is all that she sees. He's bringing a message from Krishna as he darts in and out of the trees. Behind her are Uddhava and gopis. We are standing in front by her knees. Are we also flowers growing on big, noble, green leaf trees? So I was just chanting, looking at this picture, and trying to and I was realizing, well, hey, wait a second. This probably says window to the spiritual world, and who is she? But in the Maha Mantra, who is she? What's her name in the Maha Mantra? Not Hare. Hara. And what does Hare mean? Oh Radha, oh Hara. You can say Radhe Radhe, but you can also say Hare Hare. It's all complete. This one Maha Mantra, everything is there. Hare. Yeah. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, there has never been, there never will be, and there is not now a more sinful, stupid person than me. Right? I never take advantage of good advice from gurus. I don't perform pious activities. But still, because I know the power of these two syllables, Radhe, I think that even I will be able to stay in Vrindavan Dham to the last moment of my life. Vrindavan Dham ki. So we can change that a little bit. Never been, there is not now, never will be a more stupid, sinful person than me. But because I know the power of these two syllables, Hare, I think that maybe even I can stay in ISKCON to the last minute of my life. God, ISKCON ki. But how? You're chanting. Prabhupada gave us these windows on the spiritual world. Such a fantastic picture. So I guess she was seeing this. And if you understand the whole story, what is the story? What is the story here? Who's that? Yeah? Who's that? What is he doing? He's having lunch with them?
Bringing a message from Krishna.
Huh? Yeah. So this is jnana. This is coming from the memory, logically putting people in their place. Jnana Mishra Bhakti Yoga. Our goal is Bhakti Yoga. And we have to understand logically. We have to put it together. We have to read the Krishna book. We have to know the stories. We have to know what's happening. And then who is this? One special gopi. Yeah. So she saw A, and she thought it was A. Yeah, or maybe Krishna himself, like that. There's a whole story. So I read before, Prabhupada said that this was always the mood of Lord Chaitanya, Madhavendra Puri, especially absorbed in these feelings of separation when Uddhava came, like that. So in the Bhagavatam, this is the Brahmara Gita. And very, very, again, you can chant these prayers, you can read them, chant them, then you can chant your rounds. Chant 3-4 rounds, read more from the Brahmara Gita, chant 3-4 more rounds, right? Burn up your material life, like that. So this is why I was just realizing, okay, but we're on this side. What's on this side? You think there's more gopis there? Is Lalita standing there to make sure Radharani doesn't hurt herself? Maybe. Yeah, maybe another gopi standing there realizing she might hurt herself. She's completely distracted like that. Or maybe there's more of these bushes there in front of her. So what are we? Right? We're a part of this picture, right? We can be Raganuga. We can meditate in that mood. Well, I'm there. What am I? Maybe I'm one of the flowers. Like that. I wish that all these thoughts were coming to me. Oh, but I think that it is too hard to be flowers at her knees. Better to aspire to be dust neath the roots of the trees. We have the Prabhupada, dust under Srila Prabhupada's feet. Everything in the forest of Braja, both colored and simple and green, chants the names of Krishna and Rama to create the proper scene. Can you hear the sound of the flowers? Their japa perceived as smell. Can you hear the sound of the dust? It helps the bee remember the words that he must tell. So I have one friend, Astavarga, who's a devotee in South America, from Brazil. And he said when he was joining ISKCON, he was trying to become a big book distributor because he realized that was the most prestigious position, right? The most prestige was to be a big book distributor. So he said at one point, Vidayananda Maharaj told him, he said, you got to understand, ISKCON is a team. It's just like in football, soccer. How many people know Pele? And the most famous, he's like one of the most famous football players ever to live. He said, some people have that ability to make the points, but they need a team
to get them in the right position where they can just blast it on in there and knock the goalie off his feet like that. Okay. So that's most of us. Again, book distribution doesn't mean everybody should try to distribute books. Take them with them in your purse or briefcase. Leave them in the seat in the airplane. Every time you take an airplane flight, leave one book in the seat pocket in front of you. Now, how many times do you think somebody will pull it out and look at it and wonder, what is this? Yeah? It's a boarding flight. So many ways, The Japa will inform you how to get the books out if you're sincere. How can I do something? What can I do? And then, find your position. Because some people have that nature that they can be the front linemen, right? They can get the books out. But half the Sankirtan devotees I know are crazy. Matter of fact, guys back there, and they need somebody to help them, right? Somebody to coach, somebody to help them in so many ways like that. So, one devotee, I have one friend, and his wife is a very good cook, but she's not a mental giant like that. I don't think she knew the difference between an atom and a molecule. How many people here know the difference between an atom and a molecule? Okay. I don't think she knew that. But she's a very nice cook, and a very nice, chaste girl. So we had these big programs with the Bhaktivedanta Institute, Nobel laureates, and you see them all as it was coming time for the coffee break, all kind of like discussing these things and kind of like looking at their watch. And when it's time for the coffee break, they'd all run back to the table and these beautiful pastries and things, and you'd all be looking like, take a little bit of that, a little bit of this. And Prabhupada says, after you eat prasadam like that, you can understand the philosophy for about 2 hours. So, who was the greatest Bhaktivedanta Institute preacher? PhDs, MAs, or this, simple lady who was cooking? Yeah, find your position. Find your station. Play your part. All things done by the Japa part. So how many particles of dust on Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet? Srila Prabhupada was walking in the dust of Vrindavan. And every time he steps down, that's one incarnation in one universe. And he changes everything in that universe. And some of the dust goes up and settles down again. But some sticks with his feet and goes on with Srila Prabhupada. So what do you want to do? You want to stay here, be a devotee, or you want to stick to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet and go traveling with him? And everything in Vrindavan is chanting. The flowers are chanting, but their chorus is fragrance. It makes a very nice fragrance for Radharani. All the particles of dust are chanting, and they create the right background so the bee can deliver his message. When you go on book distribution, Sankirtan, you got to watch it happen. Right? What are you supposed to do? I'm supposed to be fixed like this and that. Krishna is supposed to send the people, and then at that point, I just watch the magic happen. I do my part, little part, right? So we're all just particles of dust in ISKCON chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Okay. And one last thing here. The music of this one. I'll turn it off there. Why not? Oh, this is nice. This is, if you know the cartoon Ramayana, there's a Ramayana from Japan, by cartoon Ramayana. So we kidnapped this for the section there. Of course, I love it because my name is Hanumatpresaka. This is the whole story of how Ram, sends Hanuman, he finds Sita. So here is the song. Janani Ham Ramaduta Hanuman. Oh, mother, we are Hanuman, the messenger of Lord Ram. Radhika Raman translated this for us. And in the song, she's saying, "Oh, Ram!" Yeah. She was very distressed, very, 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 very unhappy. You can't imagine when she was kidnapped. All the animals wanted to help her. The demigods, they were afraid of Ravana, and she was crying out for Ram. And it says in Ramayana, her cries were so intense that the entire universe went off its orbit like that. It was just so intense, her suffering and anxiety like that. And all the trees and the animals were saying, there is no justice, there is no mercy. It was very intense. It just went on. That was just the start of the problem. You want to get Krishna Baba, you have to suffer Baba for a long time, Baba. Yeah. So Sita for months was tormented, suffering. She's going to hang herself finally.
So at that point, out of this tree comes Hanuman. Imagine how happy she was to hear that, right? How happy she was to hear those, what are 9 or 10 words, 4 or 5 words there. Oh Mother, we are Hanuman, a messenger from Lord Ram. Kacharanabandhanam karomi pamara avasara praptaman. I offer my obeisances to your feet. This fool has attained this great fortune. Like that. So you can go on Sankirtan in this mood, looking for the Sita in the hearts of all these demoniac ideas, waiting to get a book to be preaching. And somehow or other we make that contact, then we can feel God. So somehow or other this fool has this opportunity to bring this book to you. Mama Prabhu Kanti Eva Divakara Yavaniyatam Ridla Chandraka. My Lord's beauty is like the sun, and his voice is gentle like the moon. Yeah. When Ravana kidnapped you, he was inviting his own death, which took birth at that time. Here's kidnapping Sita, chopping off Jatayu's wing, and the news that Sita had dropped the jewelry. I see that my Lord is always grave, but actually he is constantly thinking of you within his heart. Seeing his eyes filled with tears, I feel great distress. So when Hanuman saw how Ravana was abusing Mother Sita, he had a few choice words to describe Mother Sita's sister and mother. Like that. This Ravana, he was using very foul language describing Ravana. You guys, what a monkey can talk like when he gets going like that. So he was actually very disturbed by this whole situation, and thinking and feeling how Ram was disturbed. How Prabhupada wants those books to go out, how Lord Chaitanya is disturbed in the situation, all these good souls. How many nice people out there are like us? Are we all that great? No, there's so many people out there just like us, but they get this information, can be saved from this hellish condition they're in. So Hanuman, is our example. Raganuga Bhakti, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Sita, please give us the opportunity to tell you about Krishna and Ram. The message has come. Help Hanuman deliver the message like that. You can be a background. And Hanuman came back and told Ram where Sita was. He did his mission. And Ramachandra said, we are known as 4 brothers, but from today we are known as 5 brothers. Right? And I have nothing I can give you. I'm living in the forest with nothing. The only thing I can call my own is my embrace. So offer you that. Jai. It's the public key. Thank you very much. Happy Swami. This is my swaroop. So we have a website. If you want to contact us, Prabhupada says that Hanuman didn't think for a long time about how to cross the ocean. He just went there and thought about it a little bit and said, Jai Ram, and did it. So our website address is very simple. www.jairam.us, United States. And we have a newsletter. Every 2 weeks we put out a newsletter. And in the newsletter is our email address. So if you want our email address, you've got to read the newsletter. We keep changing it. Koi prashna hai? Any preguntas? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Maharaj, when I chant, I get sleep.
Yeah.
I tend to sleep.
Yeah.
How do I avoid that?
No, again, the question is, when I chant, I tend to sleep. How many people have that problem here? Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's pretty universal. But again, everybody has, different mind, different karma, different nature. And again, recommending one thing is get a good night's sleep. Sleep well, so you wake up refreshed. Don't eat too much late at night. Eat something you can digest easily. Sleep well, and then make this your priority. Your health, your wealth, your family relationships, your preaching, everything will improve the maximum amount as you improve your japa. There's nothing else you can do for any other goal you want, that will get a better result than putting the rounds. So work it out so that's your most refreshed time of the day. A Brahmana works from 2 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning. In the mode of passion, you work from 10 o'clock until 6 o'clock at night. In the mode of ignorance, 6 o'clock till 2 o'clock in the morning. What's the happy hour for the fools? In the evening, you see all these bars, they have happy hour. Alcohol, half price. Oh, really? Idiot. I haven't got to work, now I can play games. And, so they're a fool. That's his happy hour. For a businessman, he was cut short because all the businesses closed down. But if he can get to the bank, get the money out, he can go buy this and sell that. So his happy hour is when the bank's open at 10 o'clock in the morning. And the devotee, Mangalarti, 2 o'clock in the morning, get up, nobody bothers me. If you work hard from 2 o'clock until 10 o'clock, the entire rest of your life is just play. Yeah. You come home hard from working, you sit down, relax, just do what you want to do. Take a bath, read the paper, go to the mall with your family. You're working, but now it's play. So if you really chant your rounds well, Mangalarti, read properly, proper prasadam, everything else after that is this money, administration. The administration is at your finger's tip. Money, there's no question of shortage of money. Right? Everything will just be like a game after that. You win or lose, but it's all just a game. It's fun. So make it that your arrangement. So you get a good night's sleep, and get up, and now I do my work. I'm working for Krishna.
The other thing is like, if I get up once in a while, 4 o'clock or something like that, once or 2 times, 2 days, continuously, it won't happen for the next 15 days again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I get a feel that I did something and then that's it. It doesn't happen.
Raghunath Swami says that Vaidhi Bhakti, sadhana bhakti, is a cheating process. That's Raghunath Swami. So we're all on different levels. We're all on different levels. So it's just, we understand, okay, this is the goal. It's what I have to do. Why is it happening this way? Why is it happening? What happens? Let me watch. Let me analyze. Let me see. Let me talk to other people. You got to solve your own problem. I got to solve my own problem. But with help. Some help. Why did he say sadhana bhakti is a cheating process? That's in Manushiksha. Because sadhana bhakti means, okay, I'm married, I bring my new bride home, carry her over the threshold, and she's sitting down writing something, and I say, well, what are you writing, my dear? She said, well, this is the contract. I'll give you 2 children, I'll cook you meals, I'll wash the clothes, but I want a new automobile every 5 years, I want 6 new saris every year. So this is love. This is sadhana bhakti. I'll do the rules, I'll follow the regulations, and this and that. But there's no feeling yet like that. It's done out of a sense of duty or something like that. And we're not giving ourselves to Krishna. So after sadhana bhakti, we really begin to give ourselves to Krishna. You can go to prema bhakti very quickly. What's stopping us? Right? Well, a lot of it is our own cheating. We still want to use our love for ourselves. Right? Right? You see yourself in the mirror as the most beautiful form in the world. It's okay? Yeah. So, but for us, it's an expression of love. And as we're advancing, it can be the purest expression of love. But going on, though. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 1, 1.
Raj, when explaining the third level of chanting, you're mentioning chanting with meaning. Prabhupada explains that we should hear what we're chanting. So how to integrate that hearing with meaning?
So how do we integrate the hearing with the meaning? Because we should hear the mantra. Okay, so you can think about this, you can think about that, you can do deity worship, you can read books. But at least for 16 rounds, the first thing is to hear and to pronounce clearly. Right? Then, if you're doing that and you're fully occupied for that, then you add these other things like that. Again, it's like you try to hit the target. Okay, I'm hitting the target. But now I can stay within the 20-point range. Now I can stay within the 30-point range. Now I can stay within the 50-point. Nama, Rupa, Charit, Sangha, Lila. were coming into Mathura one time with the Rajmandal Parikrama, and I was leading the kirtan, and some people were looking at us, like smoking their beedies and trash, and didn't look very happy to see us chanting. Other people were kind of happy and waving to us, and I was kind of intimidated by these, mean-looking Brijbasis. But then my mind was teaching, looking for shelter. So I'm pious person, So my mind took shelter of the holy names. And I started chanting and focusing on the mantra. Think about that. Don't think about this. Nama. And this naturally, Nama. George Bush. Right? Do you think about a short black girl with red hair when I say that? George Bush. The form is there. If you're really saying the form properly, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, right? Nama, Rupa. Then this naturally, I was looking for the Rupa then. Nitai Gaura Sundar, right? Gaura Tiger with us. There's the form of Krishna. Nama, Rupa, Sangha. They're always with their chari. They're all powerful. What do we have to be afraid of? We're with Krishna and Balaram, right? And then Sangha, and these are just like the cowherd boys. Krishna and Balaram were coming into Mathura with all the cowherd boys, 5,000 years ago. So we're just like that. We're the cowherd boys with Krishna and Balaram, like that. And they're all powerful. And then Leela. Then Krishna are killing people like that. So I didn't stop chanting. I didn't stop focusing on chanting. The chanting was now with that concentration, with that meaning, in that association, in that perspective. So yes, very important. We don't want to start thinking about something else and chanting. We want to chant and, as we can, enhance it. Like that. Yes.
So, in the beginning stages, complete focus I should put on hearing.
Yes. Yeah, for at least 16 rounds, the first thing is to hear the mantra, pronounce it clearly and hear it. And automatically you discover. Of course, there's so many techniques, tricks. We can't do it, so we have to engage in karma yoga a lot. Do what you can do for Krishna. That'll purify you. But that's why I'm doing it. If you're following behind this elephant, that's why I'm doing this other stuff, so I can improve my chanting. And improve my chanting, everything else will improve automatically.
How does the Raganuga brought develop? Does that require the association of advanced devotees, the association of devotees in general, or how does that?
Well, because my comprehension, you don't start Raganuga until you're liberated, until you're, basically liberated. You can follow the four principles strictly for some time like that, and you can. The desires are still there. Material desires still have a grip on you, but they're under control and they're decreasing. And now you're starting to come to the platform of being a Goswami, a sannyasi. Jitatmana prasantasya paramatma samahita. Once you can control your mind by some technique or something like that, then automatically the Paramatma is there, giving you perspective, ideas, inspiration. So really, Raganuga means you actually are a Goswami, whether you formally take this sannyas ashram or not. Everybody has to become a Goswami, right? Every lady, child, you have to control the mind, and you start getting inspiration. You open a book, you're thinking about something. I was being critical of one of my superiors in ISKCON one time, about his not chanting his rounds so well. And he opened Prabhupada's book up and it said, one should not be so critical about other people's sadhana. One should focus on his own sadhana. Okay. Yeah.